welcome Matthias to Metaladium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about The Spirit, this new album song against humanity, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are starting by asking, how are you doing today? How is the band during the last couple years? Because your previous album was released in 2020. 22, sorry.
I'm pretty good. A bit busy at the moment because the release is next week, so it's a lots of stuff to do right now. Interviews, lots of interviews. We prepare the release shows for next week's. We have our own shop, so there are like in the next couple of days hundreds of orders to send all around the world. So it's quite busy. I will be very relieved when the next 2 weeks are over. And yeah, overall, hey, it's doing fine. We keep our schedule to release every 2 years a new album. And I think the new one, the upcoming album, Songs Against Humanity, is probably our strongest record to date. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the results overall.
Okay. So when do you start writing songs for this new album? Are all the songs new, or do you rescue any composition left out from the previous ones?
No. I never do that. I don't keep anything or save riffs or stuff like that. When I write new songs, then they are brand new. I don't have anything on my computer, old stuff, or when lots of people just keeping a big pile of music on their computer, and when the inspiration is not there, they took some stuff and yeah, putting that into songs. I don't like to work like that. When there is a new album, I work with new stuff, and that's how we do it. So the music, when did I start to write? Early 2023. I could do like 2 songs, I think. Yeah, then I had like my personal life, some bullshit happening after that, some seriously health issues. And so I could continue again, like at the end of 2023. What meant that there is a bit of time pressure because the studio was already booked. So when I was able to play guitar again, it was yeah, quite a hassle, but I did it well. I was surprised that I could make so much stuff, so not so much new music in such a short time.
Okay.
Usually I work quite long at songs. This time there were some songs that were done within 1 week. So, but the result is still very great music. So I'm quite happy that I discovered that I can work like this as well.
Okay, nice. I saw that the band started their career in 2015. Now you have four albums. So I saw that you always working in a new music, and also I saw that each two years you present a new album. So are you always working on a new music, or do you prefer to focus it once you finish promote the last album? How do you decide when it's time to work on a new songs and a new album?
It depends when there's time. I can't work on music when we are super busy, when there are like lots of shows coming up. I can't focus on music. The thing is, like once I'm in the songwriting process, it starts on daily basis. When I have like I don't know, an appointment with the dentist in 2 hours, I don't start with songwriting because you never know when it goes well, when the ideas are coming. And when I have like a good session and then the alarm clock goes on, hey, you have to go to the dentist, I have to stop, I come back, and then that's it. So that's on daily basis, but also like in overall, when I know there's like a time period of several weeks where there is like nothing to prepare for, or no big appointments, then I can focus on the songwriting. But yeah, between like festival, like in summer, I would never start songwriting because like there's every weekend there are festivals and stuff like that, and yeah, I need a free mind, an empty mind as well, and where not so much stuff is going on. So, for example, right now I would never write to music because there is so much stuff going on I have to take care of.
Okay. So many bands and musicians see each album as a child. You said that this is your best effort to date. So in this case, that's a common thing to think that the last effort is the best work to date. So for you, if we relate this topic, what are the reasons that make this album to you the best ones for this period?
I didn't say it's the best one. I
Okay.
said it's probably our best output so far because I'm the wrong one to say to say which album is the best or which one is good or bad. You know, other people can do that better because I write the music. I'm too close to it, you know, to say anything like that. The songs are really, really strong compared to the previous one, where we experimented a lot with odd time signatures and changed a bit our sound. This record has a bit different approach. I had a different approach again. As I mentioned before, there was like yeah, I had a shitty year last year. And when I was in the songwriting, I was in a very, very different mode than in the previous record. And that's why I think it's a bit more straightforward. The songs are more aggressive. They're more catchy. Um, yeah, it sounds very different to of course, both albums sounds like The Spirit, but we changed the style again a little bit. And I think this record is more likely to be more friendly to the listeners. Because like the old album, I like what I like in music. When I listen to music, I like to discover music, you know. I like to listen to albums again and again, songs again and again, and discover new parts, you know. That's why I like so much prog music. That was with the last record. With this one, you know, it's more straight to the point, in your fist. And I think for the general majority of the people out there, that's probably more what they want to hear from us.
Okay, okay. You've been around, as I said, like you. Next year will be 10 years for the existence of the band. You have 4 albums now. You have a lot of releases more. So, as a young band, what inspires you to create new music and a bet on a new releases in a digital age when you have hundreds of bands releasing albums every week? So there is a lot of competition, but a lot of ways. So, do you feel like you have to compete with a lot of bands or? On this kind of situation?
Everyone who says no says bullshit. This is a huge problem for any band, except you are like one of the super big ones. There is just way too much stuff coming out every day, and to get out of this, to get the attention of new people, it's very, very difficult. Especially when you're just focusing on new music, because there's just too much stuff coming out there. That's why for us the priority is always when we release a new album to play live as much as possible, because that's when we get to people. When we play live shows, we kick ass live. That's where we have a bit different attitude from other bands on in our genre regarding that, and I think that's where we catch new people. But yeah, it's very difficult to reach new people um, for just releasing new music, because there's just way too much stuff out there, new stuff every day. It's way too much.
Okay, okay. Now talking about again for this new album, Son Against Humanity. One thing that is normally when you are a fan, you try to relate the concept of the album lyrically, musically, and by the cover art. So for you, you are behind this creation. So how do you relate the music that is very lean down to the melodic, black metal, death metal, and also how do you relate the cover art into this new album, the cover, the lyrics? So how do you encompass everything for the title, Sons of the Against Humanity?
I mean, the title comes later, when I started with the lyrics. First lyrics, and when the lyrics are done, I decide like what the album title will be. So that's a natural process. It's not that the song title is first and then I start with the lyrics. And the album cover comes really last. It's We worked again with Elin Rancanto. We worked with him on the previous record as well. And what you shouldn't do is, like, when you work with such a great artist together, to tell him exactly what you want. you know? When I tell him I want this, I want that, I want it to be like this and this, it wouldn't work like this, because the end I would never like it, because then I have an idea how it should look and it will never look like this. So the best thing what to do is, especially when you work with professionals like that, let them do their thing. I give him like if a vague idea what I want, especially this time with the colors. I said to him like what I want with the colors, and I gave him like one or two phrases and say like what I definitely don't want. And that's it. Then I let him do his magic, and it usually always works with the artists we worked so far.
One thing that you mentioned is about the a lot of releases that happen by the end of the week. As you can see, every weekend we have 50, 40, 60, I don't know, 70 releases per weekend. That's impossible to catch up. Even we are work as a media, it's impossible to catch up 50 or 60 releases per weekend. That's impossible. So for you, I spoke in the past with great musicians, old musicians, new musicians, and say that this thing is too saturated. This is right. For a lot of people it's good, and for a lot of kind of people it's bad. So for your guy, for your way of thinking, so is this saturated weekends releases is good, is or is bad for the metal scene in general?
Hey, I don't know. As you said, like for probably for the consumer of just music, for the people out there, it's probably good. They have like a lots of variety of music they can choose from. Um, Probably some people would say that. In my opinion, the general quality of music just dropped a lot in the recent years. There's so much garbage coming out. I'm a music lover in the first place, and when I see when you go to extreme music, um, the 90s and the 2000s, where so much legendary masterpieces came out, and nowadays it's just like a copy of a copy of a copy. I don't say like that we reinvent the wheel. We certainly don't do that. But in general, the quality of songwriting is has dropped a lot in the recent years, and that's what we try to do. And I hope we do that. That we yeah can separate us a bit from the mass of the other releases that come out every year, that we write just great music that gives the people something, because as I said, I think most of it, there of course there are still great bands out there that create good music, but for me, not as a musician, for me as a music lover, it's yeah, it's quite hard to find these hidden gems um nowadays, and to find something really good written music, inspirational, and not to mention something new. I mean, it's almost impossible to create something new. What the most bands are doing today is just like they take the standard formula, and what they create is then more the entertainment and circus style of things, that they have like costumes and all this kind of stuff, that they put more attention like to the entertaining stuff, you know, the visuals and everything. But yeah, for lots of bands, the music is just like it's not about the music anymore. It's about like presenting themselves, presenting them in videos on stage with a lot of theater and stuff like that, you know. And that's not what we want to do. For us, it's we are musicians, and it's all about music.
Okay. Okay, talking about now the promotion of this new album. So, what kind of promotion do you have for this new album? Perhaps you will present videos, more videos. Perhaps you, as you said perhaps we will work in a new album in coming weeks. Who knows? Or perhaps you will embark in full tours, Latin America, Japan. Who knows?
It's always the same. Of course, we had like the singles before. We had a video done for Room 101. This is all behind us already. We are now like in the last interviews, because the album releases next week. Then we have some release shows here in Germany until the end of the year. And then next year, yeah, the normal stuff to present the album, more tours, summer festivals. Um, indeed, I hope we can, with this album, we can finally make it to South America as well. We have already scheduled some shows in countries for next year we never played before, and yeah, that's the best promotion for the album. I mean, like interviews is one thing, releasing videos is the other thing. But again, as you said before, there are so many videos coming out every day from so many metal bands. It's just hard to stick out nowadays. So our focus is just like playing live as much as possible, and yeah, reaching with that new people. That's the best promotion you can do for the band and for the new album.
Mm, okay, interesting to know. So now returning to the band or the lineup of the band, you are you sorry for this. The band just has two members of the lineup, so there's no more members there. But since in the beginning you were four people, now so why do you decide to keep just two people to create the songs to do this event? And why? And in the future, will you perhaps hire new members of the band to stay like in a permanent lineups, or in the future will be always two people?
No, it was from the beginning. I mean, the band was founded when I met Manuel, our drummer, and we have always been the core of the band. The things like the lineup we started with the first album. Unfortunately, we're not together anymore, and yeah, I didn't see there was no need like then to bring new people in the band. I do the songwriting, and I will not get some new people in the band I probably don't know and start like writing music for the band. There's no necessity for that. I do that by myself. I have with Manuel a great drummer. We know what we want. We work very well together, and there is no need to bring other people now into an existing band that can go in a very bad direction, you know. And so it's good how it is. We have like two live members that go with us on tour, that play with us shows. Everyone is happy with the situation, and why change a running system?
Okay. So, being a band with a varied sound, how do you see the issue of the labels? Fans and media always try to label bands instead of playing with words like, black death metal, melodic death metal, this kind of stuff. And also when I see for the first time the label for Spirit, it was melodic black metal, then melodic black death doom. I don't know more things. It's a funny thing to see a lot of reviewers try to label the band. So, how do you describe your sound yourselves?
I, I think for someone who never heard the band, I mean, if you would do some fusion jazz, it would probably be good for someone good to know what we do for music, because if he wants to check out a new metal band and then we are doing fusion jazz, then he would have liked to know before he checks it out, because it's not what you want to listen to. So it's good for a general direction for the people. Someone who likes only like 80s style heavy metal and is not into extreme metal, then yeah, you will not check us out. That's how things are. I mean, I label us when someone asking us like something between black and death metal with a lot of melodies, harmonies. Um, Here and there some rock parts. Yeah, that's how it is, that the people get a general idea what to expect.
Mm, okay, okay. On the other hand, I imagine you must also mention sometimes that your sound is reminiscent of certain bands that may have inspired you or not. So, but you haven't ever, but have you ever been told that you sound like your certain band when you really don't?
Yeah, I mean, I heard so many bands that said like, "Oh yeah, you sound like this and this band," and I never heard of this band before. Yeah, that happens many times because, as I said, there are so many bands out there, and again, we are not super unique. We are not a band that sounds like no other band on this planet. We're not Miss Sugar or something like that. And even them, there are like a million copycats out there already. Um, Of course, we hear that a lot from bands that we sound like, and actually, it's always an honor to, you know, when we get mentioned in the same phrase with with great bands. But really, I don't care much about that. What people say. I even heard like we sound like Sodom and stuff like that, and it's like, really? I mean, that's a thrash metal band. We make like very different music. So hey, it's people's opinion. I don't give much about that kind of stuff.
Okay, okay. So one of the last questions for this interview, you mentioned that there is a lot of saturation releases per weekend. Also, we said that. So now with this kind of thing, and you said that is now the new music is a little not decreased for in the general for the music. So I always for this kind of topic consider that rock or metal music is the music of people that may age they may age but keep the spirit young. So I listen to latest records from classic bands, and after decades, many of them manage to keep the energy. But to be realistic, nothing lasts forever for this. In your opinion, what do you think is going to happen when most classic bands that can perform in stadiums will be retired? Do you think that there are younger bands that can carry the torch in that aspect?
No, not at all. Not at all. You can see it already when in 10 years. It's sad to talk about that, but in 10 years or in 15 years, there won't be any Iron Maiden anymore. There won't be Deep Purple anymore. Like all the big bands that are still here, and I mean many of them are already gone. When they're not here anymore, this is gonna be, hey, I don't know, but it's not gonna be a good place. Um, there are no bands that can take that place, and those bands which are then the biggest bands, damn it, really when these are then the new kings of metal and rock, then yeah, then I see an oblique future for the music genre. Hey,
Hmm.
but who knows what happens in 10 15 years? Maybe the scene develops in another direction and new, better, good bands coming out. But I don't see it that well, you know. I'm always a pessimist a little bit, unfortunately. But that's what I learned from 39 years on this planet, you know, how things work. And I don't think it's getting better. That's why, for example, I try to enjoy the last good bands from the golden age of rock and metal, and that are still around. I try to see them as many times as possible. When now Iron Maiden announced their tour for next year, when they start in Europe, um, as soon as the tickets were online, I ordered for 4 concerts tickets. Probably it's going to be 5 or 6 at the end. I just try to see them as many times as possible, and also for other bands because they really dying out, and they're not getting better. Most of them. There are like a few bands that still have the energy. I don't mention. I will not say any names, but there are some bands where I really would say, like, guys, you have to retire because you sound like shit. Or other bands that are like, you know, doing half playback on show. That's also not really what I want to hear when I go to a live concert. So it's gonna be like, yeah, I don't see a very positive future for the rock and metal when you look to the really big bands. Not at all.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, Matthias, we come to the sad moment of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview as I did. And thank you very much for your time. This new album, Sons Against Humanity, is a great one. Congratulations on it. So maybe you have something to add to Latin fans and obviously Metallica followers.
Yeah, thanks for your time. And as I said before, I hope that we can come with this album um, to Central and South America for the first time. We're working on it, and to bring you guys the live music. As I said, there is one thing like listening to us on record, but I think like our strength is in live shows where we really kick ass, and I hope we can bring you that very soon to the South and in general Latin American stages.